Moneybagg Yo's Side of Town while having a diss song out about Moneybagg Yo.
Yeah.
But whole time, allegedly, right, y'all were set up.
I think he most definitely threw a shot. They saying that he probably be talking about Bag. Nah, you ain't talking about Bag.
And they weren't just collaborators. They were like brothers, chasing the same dream, hitting clubs, grinding, and trying to put Memphis on the map together. Things were solid at first, but cracks began to show. Back then, they were hustling non-stop, promoting music, burning CDs, even pulling up to Walmart just to get their sound out there. This was long before the fame, before the money, before any of the drama. But here's where it gets interesting. Even then, the cracks were visible. Finesse himself said Moneybagg was always the smooth one in the crew. When they hit clubs or handled business, Bagg would try to dip early, avoid wild situations, and stay low-key. And honestly, that's not a bad thing. Not everyone is built for that kind of energy, and that's a fact. But in the Memphis scene, those mindset differences can turn into tension fast, and that's exactly what happened. Fast forward a bit, when Finesse got locked up, everything shifted. While he served time, Moneybagg Yo and Black Youngster blew up fast. Youngster got signed, Bagg got signed, and the city celebrated their rise. Meanwhile, Finesse was inside, watching it all play out, seeing his day ones living the dream without him. So when he came home, he already had a wave building. His track G-Train pulling over 100,000 views, other songs climbing on SoundCloud. He was buzzing before reconnecting with Moneybagg. But Bagg stepped up, showed love, and brought him into Bread Gang, his label under Yo Gotti's CMG family. At first glance, it looked like a reunion, a homie helping another shine under CMG. But behind that picture-perfect moment, things were complicated. Finesse later spoke on it and kept it 100. He said he joined Bread Gang to make the city look united, to show peace, not problems. Loyalty is in his nature, and he genuinely thought he was making the right move. But what he didn't realize was he was stepping into a situation that would start feeling more like a trap than a blessing. According to multiple sources, even his own brother, there was no love. Word is Moneybagg leaned heavily on Finesse's creativity in the studio. Whenever Bagg hit a wall with verses or couldn't find the right flow, he'd call on Finesse and get 2Tymes on the screen. That was the energy in the room. Finesse was giving his all, thinking it was brotherhood, thinking it was real love and teamwork. But looking back now, he sees it differently. It wasn't about loyalty, it was about what he could contribute. That's a hard truth to swallow, especially when you believed you were riding for someone who had your back. But it didn't stop there. This story cuts way deeper than studio sessions or label politics. The real tension came from the whole Young Dolph situation, a piece of Memphis history most outsiders don't fully grasp. See, Moneybagg Yo and Young Dolph had serious issues, all public, on opposite sides of Memphis's divided scene. But Finesse, he was cool with Dolph long before any of that drama. Even while linked to Bread Gang, he maintained a personal relationship with Dolph going back years. Now here's where things started really heating up. Finesse's connection with Young Dolph didn't sit right with a lot of people in the industry, especially those tied to Bread Gang and CMG. Even though Finesse tried to stay neutral, just being friendly with Dolph complicated things. It was like walking on ice. According to insiders, Moneybagg started feeling like Finesse was playing both sides. From Bagg's perspective, loyalty meant choosing a lane and sticking to it. But Finesse didn't see it that way. He believed he could stay real with everyone without getting caught up in tension. Still, in Memphis, the line between personal respect and street loyalty blurs fast. And that's exactly what went down here. Behind closed doors, whispers started that Finesse's connection with Dolph was creating friction in the camp. And when Dolph's situation in the city got messier, that pressure bounced right back onto Finesse. The studio energy shifted. What once felt like brotherhood now felt tense, cold, and competitive. Finesse noticed it immediately. Fewer calls, slower responses, and a vibe that just wasn't the same.
Y'all go to Moneybagg Yo's Side of Town while having a diss song out about Moneybagg Yo.
Yeah.
But whole time, allegedly, right, y'all were set up to come during this time.
Right.
And y'all know how dangerous it was.
Here's where things really started to twist. Word got back that Young Dolph had made slick comments about MGU and their team, saying they weren't built like that. When Finesse heard about it, he went live and said straight up that he'd confront Dolph if needed, standing up for his brother and the crew. That was pure loyalty, defending his people, even though he personally had a friendship with Dolph. But here's the wild part. Moneybagg wasn't happy at all. He didn't see it as loyalty. He saw it as unnecessary drama. Why? Because around the same time, Bagg had dropped a feature with Dolph on I Need a Plug. That collab boosted Bagg's career, helping him level up fast. From Finesse's perspective, it felt like a slap in the face. He was ready to defend his brother, risking tension with Dolph's camp, while Moneybagg quietly made business moves with the same person. To Finesse, that felt confusing, maybe even disloyal. They reportedly sat down with some OGs from North Memphis to clear the air, but it only widened the divide. Finesse stood firm. He said what he said because Dolph said what he said. He wasn't backing down. But Moneybagg was frustrated, saying Finesse was overreacting and messing with business connections. That's when Finesse realized something. To Moneybagg, money always came before brotherhood. Once that clicked, everything felt different. Now, the Bread Gang contract situation added fuel to the fire. Finesse has spoken openly about this, and you can hear the disappointment in his voice. He felt trapped in a deal that wasn't working in his favor. Moneybagg wasn't fully supporting his music, leaving Finesse feeling held back instead of lifted up. One day, he found out the contract had basically been tossed aside. No discussion, no meeting, just done. For someone who had given so much, loyalty, creativity, time, that cut deep. He believed in the vision and wanted them to win together. He even said that things hadn't fallen apart. They could have made something huge for Memphis, a joint project bigger than most could imagine. What stung the most, though, was personal. Finesse feels Moneybagg never truly saw his growth. Bagg still saw him as the person he used to be, not the man he'd become. Finesse admitted he's made mistakes, costing some relationships, and Moneybagg is one of those he truly feels. He's still learning, figuring out how to move smart in the industry, and sometimes the old street mindset clashes with business. Finesse also said Moneybagg doesn't want to deal with him anymore, worried he might revert to old ways. But Finesse insists that's not the case, at least when it comes to Bagg. Once trust breaks like that, it's hard to fix, and this situation proved it. After the contract drama, things went public fast. Moneybagg unfollowed Finesse on Instagram, a small move with massive implications in front of hundreds of thousands of followers. Fans immediately sensed serious tension. Finesse didn't stay silent. He went live, calling out Bagg for being emotional and throwing shade online. He's always been straightforward, never hiding or letting people talk about him unchecked. He made it clear he stands on his own 2 feet. During earlier rants, Finesse revealed behind-the-scenes truths that shocked many. Back in studio days, whenever Bagg needed inspiration or a spark, he'd call on Finesse to bring that energy. Finesse claimed he was putting in most of the grind, while Bagg played it safe. Then he questioned Bagg's authenticity regarding his background, a big deal in Memphis, where reputation means everything. After that, everything went downhill fast. What started as quiet tension turned into a full-blown fallout the entire city could feel. Fans, bloggers, and local artists began picking sides. What was once a tight brotherhood became one of the most talked-about rifts in Southern hip-hop.
Finesse shifted his approach. No more waiting for support that wasn't coming. He focused on building his own wave, dropping songs, linking with new producers, and letting his grind speak. Each track carried more emotion and more truth, finally getting everything off his chest. You could hear the frustration, pride, and hunger in his voice. Meanwhile, Moneybagg kept releasing hits, staying booked, and maintaining a clean image. But no matter how much they tried to move on, the public kept connecting their names. Every song, every cryptic post, fans assumed it was about the other. That's how deep this runs. The tension lives between every lyric, every line. People close to both sides say there's still a small chance they could make peace one day. But right now, that bridge looks shaky. Too many words have been said and too many moves made for things to just go back to how they were. Still, deep down, even the fans remember the magic. When Finesse and Bag were united, the city was electric. Even with all the drama, Finesse started showing real growth. There were moments he'd catch himself getting too fired up and actually pull back, saying he wanted to do things for the culture, to show love to Memphis, not tear it down. He admitted that because his name is Finesse, people automatically assume he's up to something sneaky, but that wasn't his energy. He was trying to build something real, something that would lift the city, instead of feeding the cycle of tension. Still, the back and forth didn't completely stop, it just changed form. Subtle posts, indirect lyrics, quiet shots online, it stayed competitive and more lyrical than personal, until recently, when things took another turn. Finesse previewed a new track mentioning Moneybagg Yo's girlfriend, Ari, and that's when tensions flared again. In Memphis, that's a sensitive line to cross. Speaking on someone's partner isn't just rap competition, it's a major sign of disrespect. Once that line is crossed, it's almost impossible to walk it back. Suddenly, this wasn't just music rivalry, it was personal. Word on the streets is many felt Finesse went too far this time. Fans debated whether he should have kept it on wax instead of getting personal. When emotions mix with pride, things can spiral fast. People hope cooler heads prevail before it escalates further. Everyone knows you can trade verses professionally, but bring family or personal lives into it, and it gets too real. Ari is a public figure in her own right, with her own audience and platform. Bringing her name into the mix instantly put her in a position she never asked for. It also put Moneybagg in a difficult spot. In that culture, silence can be seen as weakness. He almost had to respond to protect his image in front of fans and the city. Memphis has seen this before, simple rap competitions turning personal, words taken the wrong way, and things escalating too far. The city remembers how old rivalries caused unnecessary pain and division, and nobody wants that cycle to start again. To his credit, Finesse has been honest about his mistakes. He admitted his old mindset sometimes got in the way of business and that he wasn't ready to listen when Moneybagg tried to guide him on moving smarter in the industry. That kind of reflection shows real growth, even if the situation still stings. At the same time, Finesse feels hurt. He gave his loyalty to someone he thought was a brother, stood up for him publicly, and spoke out when others stayed quiet. Yet behind the scenes, he feels left out, while Moneybagg handled business moves without him. Now, Finesse feels like he poured time and energy into something that didn't value him, a foundation he could have used to build his own legacy sooner. From Moneybagg's perspective, it's understandable why he pulled back. He has to protect his brand, his music, and his peace in an industry that can turn overnight. He's built an empire, major deals, chart-topping records, one of the biggest names in hip-hop, and every move matters. He can't risk anyone close bringing unpredictable energy or unwanted attention. But the way he cut ties, the cold distance, the public unfollow, it turned what could have been brotherhood into a rivalry. Finesse felt betrayed, left out in the cold. And in Memphis, when loyalty breaks, emotions run high.
Now, this isn't just a rap competition. These are two men with strong roots, massive influence, and plenty of pride. That combination can be explosive if not handled carefully. Memphis is a city full of passion and realness, and history has shown how fast tension can spiral out of control. One song, one lyric, one misunderstanding, it's all it takes. Both artists have teams, fans, and allies ready to defend them, which can make things harder to calm once they heat up. At this point, Finesse2Tymes feels like he has nothing to lose. He's been through setbacks, lost deals, and had to rebuild from the ground up. That hunger makes him unpredictable and determined to prove his worth. Meanwhile, Moneybagg has everything to protect: his music, brand, and family, which might push him to make strong moves to safeguard what he's built. And that's the tricky part. In a situation like this, there really is no winning side. If this keeps escalating, it could spiral out of control faster than anyone expects.
At its core, the tension between Finesse2Tymes and Moneybagg Yo isn't just about two rappers throwing shots. It's bigger than that. It's about what happens when loyalty clashes with business, when real-life values meet industry politics, and when brothers who came up together start seeing each other as competition instead of family. This situation shows just how dangerous it gets when disrespect and pride take center stage. What starts as a simple disagreement in the booth can quickly snowball into something way worse, something that affects not just careers, but lives. The question now is, will someone step in before it goes too far? Will cooler heads prevail? Or will the city lose more talent to unnecessary tension? It's time for the culture to pause and reflect. When do we stop glorifying conflict and start celebrating growth, forgiveness, and progress? Seeing artists evolve and work together brings way more power than watching them fall apart. So what do you think about the Finesse and Moneybagg situation? Did Finesse go too far with that track, or could this have all been avoided if pride hadn't gotten in the way? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear from you. And don't forget to hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe so you don't miss the next update. This story is far from over. Stay safe, stay smart, and stay tuned, fam.